So by now, you've probably all heard about Hello Games' latest project, Light No Fire, along with seeing the reveal trailer for it, which was released at the Game Awards at the end of 2023. And if you haven't, well, have you been living under a rock? Anyhow, there are a whole host of reasons as to why I think this game will be a major success and one of the biggest games of its time. Whenever it does get released, of course. So without further ado, let's get stuck in as to why. Just a quick heads up, there will be some No Man's Sky video content in this video because, well, you don't want to repeatedly watch the same 2 minutes of Light No Fire over and over, right? But it's also relevant to the points I'm going to be making, of course. Right, first up, let's talk about the mistakes of Hello Games in the past, and particularly the launch of No Man's Sky, because it was basically a total shit show, mainly down to the fact that Sean Murray had come out with all of these promises for the game that just simply were not there when the game first hit the shelves back in 2016. Now, of course, these have been rectified over the years with major updates, but there's no doubt that Hello Games will have learnt a very important lesson from their marketing campaign from No Man's Sky. Like the hype around No Man's Sky was in full flow back in 2016. We saw stunning visuals, diverse environments, and awesome gameplay sequences, which of course turned up missing come launch. Basically, the game wasn't really ready. Now, part of this could have been down to Sony and their deadline pressures of the game, but Light No Fire doesn't have this issue, as Hello Games are fully self-publishing the game. Now, of course, this means they have full creative control over Light No Fire, the features within the game, and the state of the game when it eventually launches. They won't be rushed into releasing it, they won't have to cut features, and they can fully focus on making the game that they actually want to make. They won't make the same mistake of promising features that aren't going to be available come launch, causing the hype train to go off the rails. I truly believe that this time round, Hello Games will make sure the game is fully ready for release by the time it hits our PCs and consoles, though I hope that doesn't come back to bite me on the arse come actual launch. Anyway, with that being said, I do think it is absolutely essential that Light No Fire has a successful launch because the list of games coming out this year and of course 2025 is absolutely massive, and if the game has a botched launch, people are just going to move on to something else and leave it behind. Now, let's talk about Hello Games' track record for support and updates of their games, and of course, these come at no extra cost to the player. Now, the turnaround from No Man's Sky from launch day to present day has been nothing short of remarkable, especially in the gaming world. So much content gets added to it every year, even above and beyond what was originally promised when Sean was doing all of those interviews pre-launch. So, why is this good for Light No Fire? Well, when it comes to supporting a game and making additions to it, Hello Games have absolutely nothing to prove. We all know they're capable of making an already good game even better and listening to the fans of it, and I assume they will do no different with Light No Fire. In the years post-launch, you can probably expect updates following the release of the game, and especially as it's an online multiplayer game, they may well add community events along the way. It's certainly going to be one hell of a task, but their track record suggests we're certainly in good hands. Now, Light No Fire is one damn ambitious game, even when you compare it to No Man's Sky. I mean, sure, this is one planet, one full-sized Earth that is multiplayer and of course procedurally generated, and I think that's a bit of an important part. Hello Games have done this before with procedural generation, so they know what they're doing in that regard. The scale of this game is, on paper of course, a lot smaller than No Man's Sky, but the full-size Earth will have far much more detail than any planet on No Man's Sky. So you can trust them to figure out how to make the most of their technology they have available. I also believe, though it is currently not confirmed, this game is not going to be on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles because, well, they just wouldn't be able to handle it, but it does mean Hello Games can utilise the full power of the current generation consoles and of course PCs, so the technology won't be holding anything back. So the next reason to be optimistic about Light No Fire is the fact that Hello Games have been working on the title for the last 5 years, and that means it is likely far deeper in development cycle than No Man's Sky was when it was first unveiled upon the world. And as I mentioned earlier, they probably wouldn't show us a trailer for their new game if it wasn't actually that far off being ready after the disaster that was the No Man's Sky launch. Now, if you watch the trailer closely, you probably notice that it also mentions it uses real in-game multiplayer footage, which is huge because game studios often give us trailers that are composed of pre-rendered environments and assets purely to make it a bit more cinematic. Now, given that Light No Fire looked utterly stunning on the trailer and the fact that it used real multiplayer footage, it's certainly a good indicator that the game is further along the development than people actually think. This may also give us a slight hint at its possible release window because it took 3 years from No Man's Sky announcement to its release, so it's almost certain we'll be getting our hands on Light No Fire before 2026. And I'm sure we'll find out more about that in the coming months. So, whilst Light No Fire seems a bit more intimate than a giant universe free for us to explore, it is a one literal Earth-sized world that we can fully explore with or without our friends. It is truly open world. It's also an open world that is full of strange creatures, incredible scenery, and many secrets for us to uncover. We'll be able to build in areas yet discovered and leave a lasting impression on the world that others can stumble upon, and if that doesn't sound feckin' amazing to you, I don't know what would, to be honest. We're going to get so much creative freedom in Light No Fire to an extent possibly not yet seen in other video games, especially when you compare it to No Man's Sky. The map itself is designed to be the literal size of our Earth, but it's set in a fantasy environment. You could see from the trailer that the mountains are taller and more imposing, its oceans are deeper and just as dark as our own, and we get to explore every little inch of this world. Like, sure, we've all probably played open world games before, including multiplayer ones, but I can't think of anything that's going to live up to the scale of Light No Fire. We've got literally millions upon millions of square miles that we're able to explore, points of interest to discover, and places to build with our friends. The true open world on this scale is like nothing we've ever seen before in gaming. So that should be getting you excited. Light No Fire will also bring the depth of an RPG to the freedom of a survival sandbox game, which means, whilst the focus of the reveal trailer centers on the scope of the planet, when we actually get our hands on the game, there'll be some RPG elements that we can get stuck into as well. So, for example, something like character creation, where we create our very own character, and apparently we can have a human, a rabbit, a fox, a badger, a wolf, or an otter. No idea which one I'm going to go for. But we'll also be encountering small outposts full of characters we can meet who will be able to grant us quests and things to do. Now, if you've watched my channel before, I often make a note of No Man's Sky being as wide as an ocean but as deep as a puddle. And I certainly think that Light No Fire is going to scratch that itch and deepen that puddle. It's said to be an in-depth game with plenty to do, so how freaking awesome does that sound? So, one of the main focus points of the reveal trailer was multiplayer, which means with Light No Fire, we'll be able to, and this is a direct quote from a Hello Games press release by the way, meet players from all across the globe, build a life, explore, and survive together. We'll be able to team up with friends or even encounter other players whilst out exploring ourselves. There'll be the ability to play on our own, of course, if that's what you prefer, but the one thing I'm sure will be awesome with all this multiplayer world is having the ability to construct persistent buildings and communities. And that basically means that anything we build throughout the world will be discoverable by other players, so you never know what you might find when you're exploring. As for the gameplay side of things, it looks like we'll be able to scale giant mountains, dive into the depth of the oceans, and fly on fantastic creatures all over these amazing landscapes. But not only that, there's going to be a story for Light No Fire, and of course, combat, as you can see from the trailer, because, well, many of the characters are wielding swords, staff, shields, amongst other things. There's also going to be something for everyone in a game like this, and I for one cannot wait until it comes out so I can get stuck in. I just really hope they release the damn thing on consoles as well as PC at the same time. Otherwise, I'll have to invest in one damn fine gaming PC for Light No Fire. Well, there you have it, folks. There are a few reasons why I believe Light No Fire is going to be one hell of an awesome game. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. So, what have you seen or heard about the game, and what makes you excited about it the most? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're still here, it would be totally awesome if you could support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. You can now also become a channel member as well. And as always, thank you for watching this video, and I shall catch you in the next one.